got some fun Housewives topics to cover today. If you haven't subscribed yet, here on BravoHotTea, I cover all things Housewives, our fave VPR, and Bravo celebrities, as well as some good pop culture tea. With that said, let's jump right in. All right. I'm not going to talk about this too much, but apparently the Real Housewives of New Jersey finale, that is not a reunion. This special finale taping has been done, and it was at the same place where Danielle and who else? Um, Jennifer Aiden got into a heated debate, fight, whatever. So they basically went back to the scene of the crime. Apparently, Andy, to my knowledge so far, is he was not part of the taping. So I don't understand this. So we had Teresa, Jennifer, obviously, and now Jackie, who's a friend of the cast this season. Um, they were in one room, and then Melissa, Marge, Danielle, Rachel, Fessler, they were in another room, and I guess Dolores was just going between the groups. I don't understand what this reunion, not reunion special is going to be. They went back to the scene of the crime. They watched a tape of the season finale when, that heated fight happened at Rails. What is this? Ariana 2.2. They're going to show her unseen footage. In Ariana's case, during the Vanderpump Rules reunion, at the very end, the, final, what was it, like final 5 minutes of Vanderpump Rules, Ariana was not privy to those conversations. Tom was making, Lala's big speech, Sheena being mute and just like nodding on. Ariana was not privy to that. So obviously she was ambushed at the reunion and it was new information. What are these ladies going to learn by seeing a tape of a situation they were all involved in? Guys, this is like the final send off. This show is done. I'm upset about it, but hey, you want to talk to bloggers? You want to, plot random storylines? You want to use Bo Dietl and the court system and all this other crap? Go ahead. You guys are now losing millions of dollars. Also, guys, these women not having a 3-part reunion, they lose a lot of money individually and collectively. I would say it's at least $1 million plus. Anyways, this is not a cute situation. Let's keep it moving. All right, Bethenny, the big B. Every time she shows up on my TikTok, I'm like, oh, good Lord, what are we going to see now? She obviously had that whole Chanel episode, which I feel like lasted a good 2 months, where she was constantly making 3 or 4 Chanel videos a day. And then I think Chanel finally sent her something. I can't remember. I kind of like fell off the Bethenny Chanel wagon. Now, we are in the middle of summer, and, affluent New Yorkers, they have a place in the Hamptons, which obviously Bethenny is a part of, that group, and she's currently in the Hamptons. Now, obviously, we know that her and her beau, Paul, she was with for years, they split up. Okay, cool, whatever. Um, when it comes to Bethenny's podcast, she did like the Bethenny recaps of the Real Housewives. She did like the Bethenny divorce, and then I think there were some lawyers involved because she dropped that podcast real quick. And now on her TikTok, I don't know about her podcast, but now she's talking like about her dates in the Hamptons, and it's like she's rebranding herself from Bethenny Divorce to Bethenny Chanel to Bethenny Dates in the Hamptons. And she gives us a little bit of insight of what happens in the Hamptons. And I actually don't mind this new set of videos that she's doing right now. The part that I don't enjoy in her videos is all the eating, all the food related stuff where I'm just like, Bethany, you're actually giving the girls, and by the girls, I mean us younger girls in our 20s and 30s. I would even say for women in their 40s, like she actually gives some pretty good dating advice. Um, so I do appreciate that, but all the food, guys, is just a lot. This story, she's like how, it's like this, wealthy, affluent guy, he probably has all the check marks, and the text game was not that great. And he knew he fumbled because Bethany's like, hey, you know what? Let's just do another night. And this is where it's like the woman taking her power back. Like she's not waiting around on the man. And so good for Bethenny. She's like, hey, let's just like do another night. This is where the man's like, oh crap, like I fumbled the bag. So then I'll just tell you guys the rest of her story for this date. He apparently gets reservations at some New York restaurant where it's like super hard to get. Her word choices are a little crass for my taste, for my liking, but whatever. But basically, she's just like, I don't know what he did, but it's very hard to, get a reservation, especially this late at this, restaurant. And then he got it, and then I guess like he won her over, whatever. And then she has like some other cringe dating stories where she basically like, went with her gut instinct or whatever. So I don't know, I kind of like these videos Bethany's doing now. It's interesting, we get to learn more about her like day to day in the Hamptons, her dating life post Paul. And there's actually, something to there's something to learn while she's sharing these stories. So this version of Bethany just be dates. I don't mind it. I'm here for it. All right, guys. This story I don't even want to talk about. It makes me really sad. However, Maurizio is caught with another lady. I almost wasn't sure if I was gonna even share this image because this lady is like scantily clad in what looks like a cover up. I wouldn't even call it a dress considering how see through it is. Um, Honestly, when I was just like scrolling, I legit thought, oh my God, is that Dorit? Is that Doritos and Maurizio? That would have been insane. I honestly think we should egg on Dorit to like, I don't know, her and Dorit, Maurizio and Dorit have like a fling, and then we would see it like all on Beverly Hills. That would be insane. Now that would break the universe, not the universe, the internet, and shatter the Bravo universe. Anyways, honestly, guys, when it comes to the plethora of women we will be seeing Maurizio with, it is what it is. I could care less who this woman is, who the next woman is. Um, Kyle, she has been vocal about saying that they are separate, and we even saw it on Buying Beverly Hills. At this point, they can do whatever they want. We have seen Kyle parade around Morgan Wade, not Wallen, for what, like a year and a half now. So if Mauricio wants to be with the girl from Dancing with the Stars, or this Dorit lookalike in Greece, and whoever else we'll see down the road, it is what it is. It is an end of an era. Because to me, Kyle and Maurizio felt like mom and dad, like on Beverly Hills. They were like that constant. But however, that we no longer have. All right. Heather Gay is getting a bit of a backlash, and I'm not even sure how to word it for you guys. But basically, she has a new book out, and I'm covering part of the image just because I don't really know if YouTube's gonna pick it up or whatever. So she had her first book, Bad Mormon, which she did a tour for. It was definitely showcased heavily on the show. And turns out she has a new book out now. And not only that, she is also showcasing her Ozempic body. Um, she is showing like part of her cleavage, which is what I have hid. You guys can go on her Instagram and see it. To be quite honest, I don't really understand what the backlash is. The fans are just like not having it, or people are a little indifferent, or they're like, "Oh, she has a new book out. I didn't even read the first one. Okay, cool, whatever." Anyway, she's definitely leaning in hard. Like her first book is Bad Mormon, which it's like part of her brand, and then the new one is called Good Time Girl, which that whole story from her university days. So she says, honor code, what? I'm excited to announce my second book, Good Time Girl. This book goes where Bad Mormon was afraid to and offers the receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots on life, love, and most importantly, second chances. So, good for her. She's leaning in hard to, her brand and all this stuff we saw on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I don't know what she means by this book goes where Bad Mormon was afraid to. So maybe when she wrote Bad Mormon, she like held back a little bit. Also, that was her first book. So this one, maybe she's trying to tell us, hey, buy the book. This one is going to be juicier. I don't know, guys. I probably won't be reading the book, but if you have read Bad Mormon, let me know like if you enjoyed it or not, and if you will also be reading her second book. All right, Caroline Brooks from Real Housewives of Dubai, guys. If you are not watching Dubai, why? It is everything the fans have been complaining for years. We want the money, honey. We want rich, rich. We want the eleganza, the extravaganza. We want looks after looks. We want designer. We want not just designer outfits, but homes and architecture and just beautiful scenery. And Dubai really is a kind of like Real Housewives of New York. Dubai itself, the backdrop is kind of like a character of its own. The beauty of it, at least. Anyways, watch Real Housewives of Dubai. It's a fantastic show, and I would honestly say you don't need to watch season one to watch season two. Like, if you want to understand some of their backgrounds and like the alliances and whatever, you can. But I would say you could just watch season two, and it's like a fun show on its own. And season two feels like a breath of fresh air, not just compared to season one, but just like Housewives franchises and like where they are right now. Season two, go catch up if you haven't. It's good. Anyways, Caroline Brooks is so messy on the show. I don't know what happened to her between seasons. But basically she brought on her friend Talene, and they're like real life friends in Dubai for like almost a decade now. And I guess she just wanted Talene to be like her little puppet on the show. But Talene, I think the audience has quite enjoyed. She speaks her mind and whatever. She is making wild accusations. Recently, she said Caroline Stanberry has a sugar daddy. And Michael, I believe Michael is the bald man we see on the show, who Caroline Stanberry and Sergio and Caroline's kids, they were living with him. It was supposed to be for like 2 weeks, but then it ended up being like 2 months because the house that Caroline is building in Dubai, it wasn't move-in ready yet. So, obviously they stayed with Michael for a little bit longer. So, Caroline Stanberry said how they were at a party and Michael, he had a little too much to drink, and then he was just spilling the beans to her and Chanel Ion, how apparently he pays for everything, and he was like complaining about it. And oh my God, Caroline Brooks took that as Michael is Caroline Stanberry's sugar daddy, which it sounds salacious. It's a great entertaining headline, yes. However, that's not like how I took it. I'm thinking Caroline Stanberry, stayed at his house. It was supposed to be like 2 weeks, but it ended up being, I think, like 2 months, but it felt like 6 months. During the weeks, months, Caroline, Sergio, and her kids were there. He was probably paying for his own house, which, yeah, obviously he's going to pay for his own house, but I'm assuming maybe he was also paying um, or having like extra groceries and extra food and maybe like, I don't know, more cleaning staff. So I'm taking it as he paid for everything for his own house, and Caroline Stanberry, while she was a guest that overstayed her welcome, she and Sergio didn't pay for shit. So that's how I'm taking it. But obviously, you give you give an inch to Caroline Brooks, she's gonna run a mile with it. So that's my stance on Caroline being messy. And the Dubai girls, basically, I've been noticing every week. One of them will make a trip from Dubai to the States and go on a promotional tour, go and watch what happened live, go on Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood, all these places, and stir up yeah, just stir up more awareness for the show and what's going on that week. Now, it was really funny. You could tell Tracy Tudor could not stand Caroline Brooks. Caroline Brooks, I think, wanted to be friendly with Tracy Tudor, but Tracy Tudor's like, no, no, no. You came from my girl, Caroline Stanberry, on the show. I see you. And she had like some awkward moments with Andy as well. I feel like Caroline Brooks is almost like the Jennifer Aiden of Real Housewives of Dubai. It's a little too early to tell because they're only on their second season. Like it's already like midway airing. I just feel like her and Andy, it was like awkward. And I'm not gonna say what her age is, but she's much younger than what I thought she was. And these like blazers and pantsuits and like the matronly look, it does not help. She is such a gorgeous, beautiful woman. I just think she needs to like update her style and stop being so messy on Twitter. Like she's literally on every day and has like 5 posts in like, I don't know, in like an hour. So that's the tea with Caroline Brooks. It's not looking good. All right. So Vicki Gunvalson, the OG of the OC, the mother who started all of this. She has a new podcast. I've talked about it briefly in one of my videos regarding John Jansen and Alexis and Shannon. I'll be honest with you guys, they dropped like it was like their first initial clip, and there were no guests on it. It was just Vicki and Christian, her co-host. I was not a fan because it was just like back and forth, and it was like hard to keep track of whatever stories they were even talking about. And I'm like, I don't know if I have it in me to listen to this. But she dropped a new episode with Gina Q, who, of course, is a former Real Housewives of Orange County housewife. This is a lot better. I feel like the format's a little better. We can kind of keep up with the storylines. There's a flow to it. And it's also interesting watching Kristen be her podcast host. Because at the end of the day, he's like a super fan who's now doing a podcast with her. So that's cool to see. And I think this is a better structure. They kind of balance each other out. She definitely needs someone to keep her on track. So, if they can keep it up. This already seems like a widely successful podcast, but if they can keep up this momentum, get some really good, interesting guests, and like spill tea and whatnot, I think they'll definitely be trending. Now, the name of the podcast, it's not like it flows. My friend, soulmate podcast, or my friend, my soulmate, my podcast. I feel like it's a very like inside joke or a very like inside thing between Vicki and Kristen. But besides that, I think this is going to be a good podcast. And I think I saw something recently. I can't remember if Vicki was on Teresa's new podcast, Turning Tables, or Teresa was on Vicki's podcast, or what it was. But the podcast wars, all the podcasts, people are spilling the beans, and it's not on Bravo. It's on their, own platforms. And sometimes it's good because it's like great for the audience. We get all this tea. But then for Bravo, I feel like it's like, oh my God, why are you guys like, sharing all the secrets, all the stories? Anyways, guys, that's your Housewives roundup. These housewives are so messy, but so entertaining. You guys let me know your thoughts from the stories of today, and I will catch you all later.